The United States of America quarter dollar dated 1968 D mint mark, commonly known as the 1968 D Washington quarter, is an important coin from a major transition era in U.S. numismatic history, representing both continuity and change during a turbulent period in American society. The quarter features the long-standing Washington quarter design, first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth, and by 1968 it had already become one of the most familiar coins in everyday American life. On the obverse front appears a left-facing bust of George Washington, designed by sculptor John Flanagan, with the word liberty prominently inscribed along the top edge, symbolizing the foundational American ideal of personal freedom, while "I in God we trust" is placed to the left of Washington's neck, a motto officially added to U.S. coinage in the mid-20th century and reflecting the nation's cultural values during the Cold War era. The date 1968 is positioned at the bottom of the obverse, and just to the right of the ribbon tying Washington's hair is the small D mint mark, indicating that this coin was struck at the Denver Mint, one of the primary U.S. mint facilities responsible for producing large quantities of circulating coinage. The reverse back of the coin depicts a proud heraldic eagle with outstretched wings, clutching a bundle of arrows to represent strength and military readiness, with olive branches beneath symbolizing peace, an image that subtly reflects America's desire for security and stability during a time marked by the Vietnam War, civil rights movements, and social transformation. Above the eagle is the inscription United States of America, below it quarter dollar, and across the top the Latin motto E pluribus unum, meaning out of many one, reinforcing national unity. From a metallurgical standpoint, the 1968 D quarter is composed of a copper-nickel clad structure, consisting of an outer layer of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a pure copper core, a composition introduced just 3 years earlier in 1965 when the United States eliminated silver from quarters due to rising silver prices and widespread coin hoarding. This makes the 1968 D quarter part of the first generation of modern clad coinage, a critical turning point in U.S. monetary history, as earlier Washington quarters minted from 1932 to 1964 contained 90% silver and are now valued primarily for their precious metal content. The 1968 D quarter has a diameter of 24.3 millimeters, a weight of 5.67 grams, and a reeded edge, specifications that remain standard for U.S. quarters today, ensuring compatibility with vending machines and everyday commerce. In terms of production, the Denver Mint struck approximately 101 million 1968 D quarters, a very large mintage reflecting the nation's heavy demand for circulating coins during the late 1960s, which means the coin is generally common in circulated condition, having been used extensively in daily transactions for decades. However, despite its high mintage, the 1968 D quarter holds notable interest for collectors because 1968 marked the return of mint marks after a 3-year absence. From 1965 to 1967, mint marks were intentionally removed to discourage coin collecting and hoarding, making 1968 the first year collectors once again saw D, P, and S on circulating coins. Most 1968 D quarters found today show varying degrees of wear, flattened hair details on Washington, softer lettering in Liberty, and reduced feather definition on the eagle, but examples in uncirculated condition, mint state, especially those with strong luster and sharp strikes, are increasingly desirable to collectors assembling date and mint mark sets of Washington quarters. While the coin generally carries modest monetary value, typically face value in worn condition and a small premium in higher grades, exceptional specimens graded MS-65 or above by professional grading services can command significantly higher prices, particularly if they exhibit clean surfaces, full details, and attractive original luster. Beyond its physical characteristics and collector appeal, the 1968 D Washington quarter serves as a tangible historical artifact from a pivotal era in American history, circulating through the hands of citizens during a time of political protest, technological advancement, and cultural change. And today it stands as a reminder of how everyday objects like coins quietly document the economic realities, artistic traditions, and national values of their time. Next, top 2. The United States of America quarter dollar dated 1971 with no mint mark, commonly known as the 1971 Philadelphia Washington quarter, is a classic example of American circulating coinage and reflects the stability and standardization of U.S. monetary design during the post-silver era. This coin belongs to the long-running Washington quarter series, first issued in 1932 to honor the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth, and by 1971 the design had become deeply ingrained in American daily life, appearing constantly in commerce, vending machines, parking meters, and household change jars. On the obverse, the coin features a dignified left-facing portrait of George Washington, sculpted by John Flanagan, inspired by Jean-Antoine Houdon's famous bust, with the word liberty boldly inscribed along the upper rim, symbolizing the enduring principle of freedom that underpins the United States. To the left of Washington's neck appears "I in God we trust," a motto that had become a permanent fixture on U.S. coinage during the century, reflecting national identity and values during the Cold War period. The date 1971 is placed at the bottom of the obverse, and notably, there is no mint mark, which indicates the coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, the main minting facility of the United States and traditionally the producer of coins without mint marks for general circulation. The reverse of the 1971 quarter displays the iconic heraldic eagle with wings spread wide, clutching a bundle of arrows to represent national defense and preparedness, while olive branches beneath the eagle's talons symbolize peace, a powerful dual message during a time when the United States was still deeply involved in the Vietnam War while simultaneously seeking diplomatic balance on the global stage. Above the eagle is United States of America, below it $quarter, and across the top the Latin motto E pluribus unum, meaning out of many one, reinforcing the concept of unity among the states and people. From a material standpoint, the 1971 no-mint mark quarter is composed of copper-nickel clad metal, consisting of outer layers made of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a pure copper core, a composition introduced in 1965 when the U.S. government removed silver from quarters due to rising bullion prices and widespread hoarding of silver coins. This makes the 1971 quarter part of the fully modern clad era, designed for durability, cost efficiency, and mass circulation rather than intrinsic metal value. The coin has a diameter of 24.3 millimeters, a weight of 5.67 grams, and a reeded edge, specifications that ensured compatibility with automated machines and continuity with earlier quarters despite the change in composition. In terms of production, the Philadelphia Mint struck well over 100 million 1971 quarters, reflecting the heavy demand for coinage during a period of population growth, expanding consumer activity, and increasing reliance on small change for everyday transactions. Because of this high mintage, the 1971 no-mint mark quarter is considered common in circulated condition, and most examples found today show moderate wear, including softened details in Washington's hair, slight flattening of the Liberty lettering, and reduced feather definition on the eagle. However, collectors still value this coin as an essential component of Washington quarter date sets, and uncirculated examples with strong mint luster, sharp strikes, and clean surfaces are increasingly sought after, particularly those graded mint state and above, by professional grading services. While the coin typically holds face value in worn condition, higher-grade specimens can command modest premiums, especially when original luster and eye appeal are preserved. Beyond its numismatic characteristics, the 1971 Philadelphia quarter represents a tangible snapshot of American economic life in the early 1970s, a time marked by social change, technological advancement, and shifting global dynamics. And today it stands as a quiet historical witness to an era when the Washington quarter had fully transitioned from a silver collectible into a durable, everyday tool of commerce that carried the ideals of liberty, unity, and national identity in the pockets of millions of Americans. Next, top 3. The United States of America quarter dollar dated 1972 with no mint mark, commonly referred to as the 1972 Philadelphia-Washington quarter, is a representative example of standard American circulating coinage from the early 1970s and reflects the maturity of the Washington quarter design during the fully established clad coin era. This coin belongs to the iconic Washington quarter series, first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth, and by 1972 the design had been in continuous use for 4 decades, making it one of the most recognizable and trusted symbols of U.S. money. The obverse of the coin features a left-facing portrait of George Washington, created by sculptor John Flanagan and inspired by the famous bust by Jean-Antoine Houdon, presenting Washington with a calm, resolute expression that conveys leadership, dignity, and stability. Along the upper rim appears the word liberty, boldly inscribed and serving as a core philosophical statement of the nation's founding ideals, while the motto "I in God we trust" is placed to the left of Washington's neck, a phrase that had become firmly embedded in American coinage and public consciousness by the late 20th century. The date 1972 is positioned at the bottom of the obverse, and notably, the absence of a mint mark confirms that the coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which traditionally produced coins without mint marks for general circulation. The reverse displays the familiar heraldic eagle with wings spread wide, clutching a bundle of arrows that symbolize national strength and readiness to defend the country, while olive branches beneath the eagle's talons represent peace, balance, and diplomacy, a powerful visual message during a period when the United States was navigating Cold War tensions, the winding down of the Vietnam War, and shifting global alliances. Above the eagle is the inscription United States of America, below it $quarter, and across the top the Latin motto E pluribus unum, meaning out of many one, reinforcing the idea of unity among diverse states and peoples. From a metallurgical perspective, the 1972 no-mint mark quarter is composed of a copper-nickel clad structure, consisting of outer layers made of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a pure copper core, a composition adopted in 1965 following the removal of silver from circulating quarters due to rising bullion prices and widespread hoarding of precious metal coins. The coin has a diameter of 24.3 millimeters, a weight of 5.67 grams, and a reeded edge, specifications that ensure durability, machine compatibility, and continuity with earlier quarters despite the change in metal content. In terms of production, the Philadelphia Mint struck hundreds of millions of quarters in 1972, reflecting the heavy demand for small change in an expanding consumer economy characterized by increased urbanization, automobile use, vending machines, and automated services. As a result of this large mintage, the 1972 no-mint mark quarter is considered common in circulated condition, and most examples encountered today show signs of everyday use, such as smoothing of Washington's hair details, light wear on the Liberty inscription, and reduced sharpness in the eagle's feathers. Nevertheless, the coin remains an essential component of Washington quarter date and mint mark collections, and examples preserved in uncirculated or high mint state condition, especially those with bright original luster, clean surfaces, and well-defined strikes, are increasingly desirable among collectors, sometimes commanding modest premiums over face value when professionally graded. Beyond its role as a circulating coin, the 1972 Philadelphia quarter stands as a quiet historical artifact of early 1970s America, having passed through countless hands during a time of economic adjustment, cultural change, and evolving national identity, and today it serves as a tangible reminder of how the ideals of liberty, unity, and continuity were carried daily in the form of a simple yet enduring piece of American coinage.